Elvis, what's your favorite type of sprouts?
My favorite type of sprouts are broccoli sprouts, and I'm so happy we're doing it in the video today.
Today I'm coming with you finally for a very highly requested video on our home and garden tour, and I'm excited to show you what we have going so far. We still have so much to do, and it's always going to be getting better and better over the years, so I imagine we'll be doing updated videos on our garden tour. The boys are outside working on the garden, and I'm just going to show you what we have going on. I'm also going to show you a little bit about composting and how we do our compost bin and what we put in our garden to help it grow strong. And our garden is doing amazing. We have been doing so well with our garden this time around. The last place we were living, we were just kind of experimenting and we only had a really small space, and now that this is like our own space, since we own our home now, we have so much more we can do with it, and we've learned a lot over the years, and now our garden is doing so well. Let's just show you what we got. So what we got going right now. Yeah. You excited to show everybody, Sandy?
I'm gardening too!
You're gardening too! You want to show them the lettuce? Okay, so these are the start containers that we began the veggies in from seed. We currently have 2 garden beds that Andrew put together, and this one right here gets a little more shade because the roof from our house hangs over and brings a little shade. So we planted cilantro and lettuce in this garden bed, which does better not being in direct sunlight all day long. At least that's the case for Hawaii weather, what we've found beneficial so far where we live. In the second garden bed, we have kale, which has been the juiciest kale we've ever had. We also have some broccoli growing, which is our first time growing broccoli, and it's doing so well. I can't wait to try it, like first time growing fresh from the garden. And then we have this random tomato sprout that popped up out of nowhere, and we didn't actually plant it. We were planning on planting tomatoes in the summer, but this guy really wanted to grow now. It must have just come from the compost we made that hadn't fully composted yet, so we nurtured it and just picked our first tomato from it, and it is so flavorful and salty. Elvis loves garden fresh tomatoes so much.
Mommy, try it.
Okay, my turn. A good tomato. So good, huh?
Sandy, get another bite after you? I know, it's hard to share.
It looks different.
We really like to blend the kale into smoothies or dice it into salads, and Elvis enjoys it as a wrap, filling the kale leaf with mashed avocado, dulse, and a little bit of lemon juice. Soil health is key to growing nutritious food. To grow our plants, we mix in organic soil and homemade veggie compost, and we also add wood chips on top and occasionally water with some ocean solution. One of the best tips we've learned is to add wood chips or mulch on top of your garden. Wood chips effortlessly create lush topsoil. It is concentrated sources of carbon that serves to feed the complex social ecology, and typically, carbon is one of the nutrients that's far too low in the soil. The wood chips also help hold in the moisture and hold down the soil, especially for us since we live in a really windy area, and makes it so we don't have to water as much. Also, about once a month, we mix 4 ounces of ocean solution pure into a 5-gallon bucket filled with water and water the plants with it. It's a liquid organic fertilizer filled with ocean minerals, which helps add minerals to the soil. Andrew made the garden beds by Google searching some plans, and it was fairly simple to make. You can use recycled wood or get some at your local hardware store if recycled planks are not available to you. All right, let's move on to the fruit trees. So far we have planted 9 banana plants, and a few of them already have a few keikis popping up. Before you know it, our yard will be covered with beautiful banana plants. The varieties we have are Cuban red bananas, apple bananas, and some of them are a cross between Cavendish and apple bananas. We planted them a bit too close because each banana plant sprouts about 2 or 3 more keikis, so eventually they will be too crowded and we will have to move some. But we'll see. Banana plants usually take about a year to a year and a half to fruit. Now we have the pride of our little yard, my absolute most anticipated fruit for us to experience homegrown, a mango tree. We planted a grafted mango tree and got our most favorite variety ever, the Fairchild Mango. Juicy, incredibly sweet, full of intense floral flavors, and it's non-stringy. I'm excited for the day my children can sit beneath the mango tree devouring sweet mangoes to their delight, with the juice running down their arms. A grafted fruit tree like this should take 3 to 5 years until harvesting. We also planted lots of papayas. Papaya is one of the fastest growing fruiting plants. Like bananas, they can fruit within a year to a year and a half. Papayas are one of the most nutrient-rich fruits you can eat and are great for digestion. A lot of people say they don't like papaya and that it tastes like smelly feet to them. If that's the case, 99% of the time, that person just hasn't tasted a truly delicious papaya. We planted Red Lady and Exotica papayas, which are quite long and are red in flesh. They're super sweet and satisfying.
What about we run around the whole house 2 times?
Go for it. Ready, go!
But together as a family.
These beautiful vines hanging from the fence are Liliquoi vines, or what many people call passion fruit. They started fruiting after just 4 months, and they're so beautiful and add an extra tropical vibes element to our yard. We love adding Liliquoi to our smoothies and gushed out over papaya for a tart and crunchy kick. It's amazing how fast they've grown and how many Liliquois we've already harvested from these vines we planted. So if you haven't noticed, there's a big space between our fence and the sugarcane field fence behind us. But that space in between is considered our land, so we can do with it what we want. The extra fence was already here when we bought it, and we might eventually take it down so we can utilize the space behind it. So far, Andrew's been spending hours in the garden pulling all the weeds in that area. We aren't sure what we're going to do with it yet, but we might get soil brought in so we can grow more food with the space. And right here is our compost. Andrew built it with my dad and brother-in-law when they were visiting. It's made out of redwood, and they did a Google search like the garden beds to get an idea on plans on how to make it. The coolest feature about it is that not only does it have a hinge to lift from the top, but it also has removable planks for someone like me to have an easier time pouring the compost in. The removable planks also make it easy for when Andrew needs to scoop compost from the bottom of the pile. 2 sides are lined with a wire fence for proper airflow. And every day we fill up the bucket with mainly fruit and veggie scraps, but we also add in dryer lint, hair from hairbrushes, fingernail clippings, toilet paper rolls, etc. After we dump the compost, we top it with a layer of cardboard, paper bags, leaves, or sometimes newspaper if that's all we have. And that's about it. I encourage you to start your own veggie compost if you have the space. It's such a good way to save unnecessary waste going to the landfill, and your efforts will create more nutrient-rich soil for the earth. Elvis is always hanging on the neighbor's fence yelling for the neighbor girls to come play with him, and he's sitting right next to their tangerine tree. Lastly, we have the Khalu avocado tree we planted. This variety of avocado is by far the creamiest, most buttery variety we've ever tasted. This grafted tree should also take about 3 to 5 years to fruit. We aren't finished planting fruit trees either. We are planning on planting more in the areas where there's enough space for. We want to plant a white sapote tree, a Samoan coconut tree, and likely a tangelo tree. And we'll for sure keep you updated.
Hey guys, so you've seen our outdoor garden. Now we're going to show you a little way to have an indoor garden. So you can have sprouts anywhere you live, no matter if you live in a cold climate, warm climate. You got a small space, big space. Everyone can grow sprouts in their own home. We like to grow sprouts. We have these Sprout Master trays we ordered online. You don't necessarily need to use these. You can Google how to grow sprouts. There's lots of different ways you can grow them. You can even grow them on a paper towel if you wanted to. Today we're going to show you how to grow broccoli sprouts. We got these online, but we've also bought sprouts at the grocery store before. We get clover sprouts. We get a nice sprout mix. So here's an example of some full-grown sprouts. The sprout mix of mung bean, radish, alfalfa, clover, and broccoli mixed together. This was started about 4 days ago. So we're going to start day number 1 here, and I'm going to take you through the 4-day step on how to get fresh sprouts. So we're going to start with soaking some seeds. So these Sprout Master trays hold about 4 tablespoons of seeds, so we're going to do 4 tablespoons of broccoli. Elvis, what's your favorite type of sprouts?
My favorite type of sprouts are broccoli sprouts, and I'm so happy we're doing it in the video today.
That's good. How do you like to eat your sprouts?
I like to eat them in salads, smoothies, and nori wraps.
I like to eat them in nori wraps as well. Okay, so step number 1, we did 4 tablespoons of broccoli sprouts, and now we're going to soak them in water for about 4 to 8 hours. We're going to do closer to 6 hours. We found that works best. You might have to alter it depending on your climate. When we first started, we were doing 8 to 10 hours, and they would get a little moldy by the end, so I adjusted and reduced the soak time. So we're going to take you over here. Pretty simple. Growing your own sprouts at home takes about 1 minute a day. So if you're too busy for 1 minute a day, I do not envy your life. Sprouts there, until they're covered, and I'll see you in about 6 hours. Okay, so we soaked them for 6 hours. Now I'm going to pour them out in the tray and drain the water, flatten them out. It's not an exact science. And then I'm going to cover them up and place them on the counter. It's time for their first bath, so this is something you're going to do twice a day. Just spray them off or rinse them under the sink. And you don't want all the water to drain out, so what we generally do is I use a spray bottle, tilt them in the sink, cover them up, and that's nighttime day 1. It's the next morning, about 10 hours later. You can see some of them already started to sprout. You can see some tails on some of them ready, so I'm going to give them another bath with the spray bottle. So it's about 12 hours later. It's time for their nightly bath. I'm going to spray them again. You can see the tails have grown a lot longer since the morning. It's the nenext morning already, 12 hours later. Man, that went fast. I'm going to rinse them again. See, the tails have started to grow a little more. That's a good sign. 12 hours later, it's nighttime. I'm going to give them another rinse. Tails have gotten a lot longer since I've last checked.
Hello, this is morning, day 4. We're about to soak the sprouts, and I am having a good day today. This went to the farmer's market, and these sprouts are really good. Tomorrow, day 4. This day now, this day remember, and that's mine today.
Nighttime, day 4, another rinse. Morning, day 5, they're pretty much ready to go. We like to get them a little greener than they are now. So we're going to give them one more rinse, and then I'm going to leave them uncovered to some indirect sunlight. So you don't have to go put them in the sun or anything. We just set them on our kitchen counter. Within a few hours, they'll be nice and green and ready to eat. It's been a few hours now. You can see that they've greened up a lot since we last saw them. They're ready to eat now. So what we do to keep them fresh longer is we put them in the refrigerator and leave them covered. And now you have sprouts.
How exciting will it be when like 6 months from now, a year from now, we will likely do like an update video and they'll be so much bigger and more growth, and that's so exciting. I hope you enjoyed our garden tour, and we still have so much more to do. We'll probably put in another garden bed as well, maybe 2 more garden beds, but we really want to fill up the space so that we can utilize it as best we can to grow as much food as we can. Say, you want to come in the video and say bye-bye?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Blow
Bye.
kisses. Blow kisses. Kisses. Oh, that's a very nice kiss. Super nice kiss, Danny. Good job, Elvis.